we are ambassadors for the filmmakers, and on the other side for the authorities, to make the filmmakers understand what the problem of the authorities is in that case.
It's amazing to think this, fantastic sequence on screen. There's this amount of painstaking negotiation and convincing going on behind the scenes. And I think for all the panelists, I'm really interested in that, how you convince. And it's kind of this magical skill that film commissioners need to have in order to get people to say yes to things that they might not want to say yes to, or things that they might not understand. And I'd imagine certainly in all of the cases, these might be agencies or stakeholders that you might not know beforehand. So what's the trick? I mean, how do you make that case for production?
Well, that's what I wanted to add to what Christiane said. I think the salami tactic, this is the most hated thing for me as a film commissioner. Because we as a film commissioner, we should know from the very beginning what's the maximum. And then because we know the people, we should decide when to tell them. Maybe not this is because we have a relationship with them and we know how much, this is very important, But because I have a relationship and I go to authority, I say, we need this and this. And if I or my team comes 2 weeks later and say, no, we need more, makes no sense. This is not good.
Yeah, I will also say that it's like trust, and also if you for Billionaire Island to get into these fish factories, for example, they really needed to be patient, and they needed to listen to the fish factory and what are they doing, what is important for them. I mean, you can't just burst in there and because of sanitary reasons and everything. So just be open and listen to what they has to say, because their mission is not to make films. They need to make superb salmon, or are you going into a church? Their mission is not to make film, So to be humble for the first, do your research and listen. Listen to what they need and what they have to say, and be interested. I mean, generally, it's to be polite and no matter how big director you are, possibly they don't care,
Yeah.
They have other things to do.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of the same. The Green Space Authority, it's not their first job is not to issue permits for filmmaking. That's the point, and we are kind of ambassadors for the filmmakers because they need to make their films. They need green spaces to film there. Where should they do it if not right on location? So we are ambassadors for the filmmakers, and on the other side for the authorities, to make the filmmakers understand what the problem of the authorities is in that case. So we are really kind of in between mediating. It's our main goal. On the other hand, we do that through events where we have usually, since COVID, it's very good. We have digital events where we bring in the authorities and the filmmakers to talk to each other, to explain what their needs are, to explain what their, let's say, problems are, what's possible, what's not, but to really, there must be a change in their minds and we want the authorities to be more flexible and to more customer thinking and orientated. It's really a service, and it's an economic potential for Berlin and the states surrounding Brandenburg. It's very, very important to make them understand if you don't issue the permit, then we have a huge problem. It's not good for the city of Berlin. It's not good for our people. They won't find any jobs anymore. It's really a kind of industry for Berlin, and so we all need to, and we need to understand, we need to support the authorities in educating the filmmakers to make them work as professional as possible to save time on the authority sides, because they have lack of staff too, and they don't have time to ask, oh, there's a mistake, oh, and this information. So you must shorten the time of work for the authorities through professional applications.
And in each of your jurisdictions, is it that economic argument that is most convincing when you're dealing with a stakeholder or an agency or whoever it might be who's reluctant or doesn't understand? Is it that economic impact of the production that convinces them, or does it differ?
Concerning Vienna, for sure, because tourism is huge in Vienna and brings a lot of economic impact. So that's a very strong argument for us, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say that economical impact is, of course, very important, but I think there are other impacts that are equally important. Like for Freya, it was a lot about identity and to kind of feel that they do something together. And also, of course, the ripple effect with like tourism and everything, but it's also building up the regional industry, because unlike Vienna and Berlin, I don't have that big regional industry. For us, it's also important to build up that and to tell your own stories and to get them out. Yeah. So you have to have more than just the economical. Although that if you don't have the other things, then it's really not in the core, you know. Yeah.
And sorry, Christiane.
Just one thing I'd like to add. I think yes, it's an argument they accept, and they do and they don't. But it's important to point out. But there are very simple things you have to explain. Like you let's say, apply for a shooting permit. Those are our dates, and then the authority comes and says, no, you've got to postpone that for 2 weeks. And then you have to explain, but that's just impossible. They really need to understand, how film production was and what the economic effect there is, and why the actors will not be booked for those days. The whole logistics, they need to understand. So it's several points, but economic is always a good point to bring in.
And obviously, the bigger the names are, the more or the easier it gets, to be honest. A couple of years back, we hosted the Steven Spielberg film Bridge of Spies, around the corner from that forest, actually. And so that was a no-no as well, to get that bridge blocked. But obviously in the beginning you don't tell many people who's involved, but once you mention, okay, it's Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks, then the tables turn and it gets much, much easier. And in the end, Angela Merkel appeared on the bridge just to shake hands. But those are very, very rare occasions. But usually, and obviously, with big names comes big money and a lot of pressure, because everybody knows if this thing doesn't go through, and if we get a no within, half an hour, it will be in the world press.